What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Randy, and of course, you are watching the 5-5 Garage. And today we're going to be doing something a little bit different. I'll be starting on my Turbo Miata series. Now, if you've been following the channel, and you should be following the channel, you know that I bought a 1996 Mazda Miata about 2 years ago. And I did a couple videos where I was doing some maintenance things on that car to make it a more enjoyable driving experience. But with this series, I am going all in. Basically, I am going to show you guys how I am going to install a turbo on my Miata, as well as doing some upgrades to improve the handling and a bit of the chassis stiffness to turn this car into an autocross and a car for the twisties. Now, these videos are going to be a little bit different than some of the other videos that I've done on this channel, where, for instance, with the Mazda Speed 3 videos, I show you a part that I have bought and I tell you why you should be interested in it and then show you the installation. I'm kind of under a time crunch to try to get this car put back together because, one, thanks to the COVID-19 situation, I have got a lot of time at home and I'm not having to go into work. So what I'm going to try to do is knock out the bulk of this project in the amount of time that I have. The videos probably won't get too in-depth onto the how-tos and some of the technical stuff of what I'm doing. Basically, it's going to operate more like a video vlog where I am doing work on the engine, or I'm doing work on the suspension, or I'm going to be rebuilding something, and I'm just going to briefly describe it to you guys, and then I'm just going to jump right into it. It's going to be a little bit different, but I think we're going to have a lot of fun with it. I know I'm going to have a lot of fun with it because I have been wanting to turbo this thing for almost 2 years. For me, this was kind of like the final push to get myself started and to get going on this project so I can basically just crank the boost up on this thing and just go nuts with it. For today, I am going to be removing the stock clutch, the stock pressure plate, and the stock flywheel because I need to get to the rear main seal. And the reason why is when I bought this car, I didn't notice too much about it having an oil leak, but I did notice that my oil level was going down. Now, I did a compression check and I did a leak down test, and those numbers were fine. But I was still noticing that my oil level was dropping in the car. Underneath the car, I was noticing around the transmission area and to the back of the car, it looked like it was leaking, but I could not find any oil leaks. I have cardboard underneath both cars to check them from when they're sitting to see if they're leaking anything. The Miata did not have anything, but yet the oil problem persisted. I decided, since I have all this time off, to remove the engine and transmission out of the car so I can get a good up-close look at everything and see whether or not the rear main seal is leaking. And to give you guys a bit of some background on this car, when I bought it, the previous owner did replace the clutch. So that's going to be one of the things I'll be checking for when I start removing these parts. But he never said anything about removing the rear main seal. I put 2 and 2 together, new clutch, new pressure plate, but they did not check to see if the rear main seal was leaking. Lo and behold, take the engine and transmission out, separate the two, and the interior of the transmission has like a nice, nasty coating of like grime and oil. And then I noticed underneath the engine by the oil pan, once again, there was grime and oil, which is a sign of a rear main seal leak. This engine has about 160 something thousand miles on it. I think it's like 162, 163,000 miles on it. I don't know when that rear main seal was replaced. Moving forward, I'm just going to do it today. Now, one of the things I did do before I even started this project was I bought a complete gasket set for the engine. And I was telling myself that way, if I come across anything as I'm taking this engine out, I will readily have a replacement gasket that I do not have to go and try to go to the auto parts store, because at one point the auto parts stores here were not open, and that was a bummer to the project. I have all those things available here today, and I am going to get started. Now, I did not record taking the engine and transmission out. I really didn't think you guys would want to watch me take the engine transmission out. It took me a couple days because I was doing it by myself. I don't have a lift, and I was just taking my time, documenting everything, tagging everything, putting bolts in the baggies and whatnot, and that stuff is just not entertaining at all. One of the things I'm going to do is I am going to keep spreadsheets of how much money I have spent moving forward with this project. If you have ever seen the Car Passion Channel's Broken Boosted series, Greg did a fantastic job of showing you guys how to boost a Miata for under $1,200, I think it was. Unfortunately, this is not that project. At first, I wanted to try to do a Broken Boosted style build, but you know, once I started spending money, there was no way. But what I am going to do is keep a running tally of everything I have bought for this project. That includes tools, gaskets, sealant, anything that I had to buy for this project. I have a spreadsheet and I'm going to keep track of that. And you'll be able to find that on the website at 55garage.com. I actually am also going to start keeping project lists. For instance, like today where we're doing the rear main seal and everything I needed to be able to do that project. And the cost will be kept for that as well. So if there was any of these projects in this series that you were interested in doing, you will have a general idea of how much it's going to cost you. Now, they're probably going to be two different lists. There's going to be the project list, which is like the retail cost of parts. And then there's going to be my personal list with the personal price that I paid for it. You're probably not going to be able to find the same price everywhere because a lot of those things I found on Facebook Marketplace, I found on Craigslist, I found some in the newspaper. I was looking all around to try to find parts and deals to be able to do this project. And if you're interested in doing this, that's a good idea as well. Trying to do this completely retail is ridiculously expensive. If you think you're just going to get a manifold and a turbo and slap it on your car and then be boosted, there's a whole lot more that goes into it. It's one of the reasons why I'm filming this entire process, because a lot of times I hear people say, hey, I want to boost my car, how much does it cost? And then you try to tell them and they think that you can just get a turbo and a manifold, slap it on the car, and everything's going to magically work. It doesn't. But I'm rambling right now and I'm trying not to do these long monologues. So we're just going to get into doing the work of removing those parts and installing that rear main seal. This is my engine. It's still on a puller, but I have a block of wood that you can see down front that's supporting the front of the engine. So this is pretty stable, so we can begin working on this. Now, this right here is the clutch assembly. This is the pressure plate. The clutch is sitting behind it. And this is the flywheel. Now, so the first thing we need to do is to remove this clutch. And for that, you're going to need a 14 millimeter. And just go around and loosen these up. And then this pressure plate will come off. Be aware, when you remove the pressure plate, the clutch is going to be loose and it's going to come off as well. Once I get this off, I will show you guys those two components so you can see what they look like if you've never seen them before. But I'm going to get started. If you guys ever wondered what your main rear seal looks like, it's this. And one of the signs of a leaking rear main seal is all of this fresh type oil. Go ahead and replace this. First I'm going to do is get this transmission shield out of the way. I'm going to try to clean this up as well while I'm back here. Probably going to have to go buy some degreaser. In order to get that seal out, you're going to need one of these, and this is a seal puller. And basically, you just hook this in here and pry it on out. Now, what you want to make sure is not to scratch the surface of the crankshaft. You really don't want to scratch the surface of the housing as well, but hopefully I will be able to just dig this in here and start working this out. The old seal comes out. Now I'm going to go and compare this to the new seal that I'm going to replace it with. So here we are at the work table, and this is the seal I just removed. This is the new one, and in comparing the two, it was well past time for this to be replaced. As you can see, a lot of the rubber has even worn away, and the rubber that's on here, it's kind of pliable in some places, but in other places it is very hard. As with this one, the rubber is very pliable, it's soft. You can even see most of the coating, rubber coating on this one has completely worn through. It was definitely time to replace this. And like I said, I am glad that I bought a full gasket set for this engine before I decided to start doing this. It was definitely time to replace this rear end seal, and hopefully that will get rid of the oil leak that I have. I'll take the time, clean this area up so I can put in my new seal. And basically what you're going to do is take your new seal, put a little oil on it to help it go in, and then I'm just going to take this rubber mallet and just start tapping it in a circle just until it's flush. You can also use the old seal and kind of put it over top and help tap it in, so I might try using that too. We'll see. Alright, now I got my new rear main seal in. Everything's looking good back here, and I'm pretty much done for this. I was thinking about installing my new clutch and flywheel, but I'm not going to do that right now because there are some other things I want to work on and I don't want to get them dirty. But I will show you guys the pieces that I will be adding to the car over at my work table. So I want to give you guys kind of an overview of what I'll be adding to my motor at a later date. But first I want to recover on the stock pieces. This is the stock flywheel. I think it's like 14 pounds or something like that. It's pretty heavy. And then we have the stock clutch with the stock pressure plate. And what I'll be replacing them with is, one, I am adding this lightweight aluminum flywheel from Danza. And this is way lighter than the stock one. I can easily pick this up one-handed. And the cool thing about this one is this green ring, which I have to take that coating off before I put it on, but this ring is replaceable. So later on down the line, if I add more power and I need to get a different clutch, instead of taking my flywheel out and taking it, get it resurfaced, I just have to take these screws out, pop this ring out, put a new ring on, screw it back down, and then I am good to go. And since it is lightweight, this should help the engine rev much faster. I believe this is a 8-pound flywheel, and if not, I will make a correction down in the video somewhere. But this is saving me about 6 pounds over the stock flywheel, which means the engine will be able to rev up and down much faster. I can't wait to get this on the car and try it out. As well, the clutch I am replacing with it is the Happy Meal clutch kit from Miata, and this one is good for, I think they said, for around 300 horsepower, whereas this clutch right here was only good for the stock car, which is about 100, maybe 110 horsepower at the most. So this one was designed to hold up in a boosted application. These two things together should give me a very solid foundation for my car. It should be very rev happy. It should rev much easier, and I can't wait to get the stuff on the car. Okay, so here's a little PSA. If you get the 1-ton engine puller from Harbor Freight, do not buy an engine stand. And the reason why I'm going to tell you this is because for the last 45 minutes, I have been trying to get that engine onto that stand. The reason why I can't is because you do not have enough room to get the puller inside of there. You can at the back, but at the front, it sits too tall to fit under the legs of the engine puller. And the boom on this is not long enough, even when you have it all the way down, to be able to get this inside of there to make the connection. So from this point on, I'm pretty much either going to have to come up with another idea, or I'm just going to leave the engine connected to the puller and just figure out a way to be able to do what I need to do. So I figured out how to get it on the stand. Basically, the half-ton engine stand has this bar right here, which goes on the front. Unbolt it, like I've already done. I got to slide in between the frame. The engine is on the stand. It's supported. As you see, there's no tension on this whatsoever, so it's fully on the stand. And now I am going to let the puller down, get these leg extensions and fold them up, and then push this to the back of the garage. And now I have all my space back so I can work. I had a little issue getting the engine on the stand while it was still on the puller, but what I did was took this off, took one of the wheels out, drilled 2 holes, bolted it in. Now it kind of works, because when you go to push it forward, the wheel wants to turn, and unfortunately doesn't have enough room to rotate. So you pretty much have to pull it where you need to go. That's fine. I just need a way to be able to maneuver around my garage and make some space for myself. Now that long ordeal is over and I got that rear main seal installed, I also was able to get my engine on the stand. Basically, I'm gonna call that a wrap for today. Hopefully you guys liked this video, and if you did, make sure to smash that like button. It really helps me out with the YouTube algorithm and being able to put my videos in front of people and making it easier to find them. As well, if you are interested in this Turbo Miata series, make sure to click subscribe and click the bell so you know exactly when I drop these videos. But for right now, I am going to kind of rearrange my garage a little bit, try to get myself a workspace area so I can start filming some of these engine videos. I got a lot of parts that are going on this as well. We're going to be replacing some seals. I got to do timing, maintenance on this, changing out the timing belt, putting in a new tensioner. I'm going to replace the water pump. I'm also going to replace the front main seal, and I'm probably going to get another balancer. So as you can see, I got a whole bunch of projects that I'll be working on in the future. So as tired as I am, I need to get started so I can start making those next videos. So I hope you all are safe out there. You are washing your hands, proper social distancing and all that. And I will see you guys on the next one.